Hello, hello, hello. I am your host OCL, and welcome back to 1 Century Later. As you can tell by the title, this video will cover all historical inaccuracies I made throughout the year. I tried to keep my research as accurate as possible, but there were a few times that inaccuracies slipped through, so this video will amend those. As usual, all of my sources are in the description down below. Monday, February 2nd, 1925. When discussing the discovery of the tomb of Queen Hatteferes I, I stated, Ibrahim ventured into the tomb and discovered many artifacts which are currently on display in the Cairo Museum. This is incorrect. Ibrahim did discover the entrance to the tomb when his camera leg struck the plaster entrance, however it took several weeks for crews to remove the debris in front of the entrance. On March 8, 1925, archaeologist Alan Rowe became the first one to open and enter the chamber. Tuesday, March 10, 1925. As stated, the island of Cyprus in the Mediterranean officially became a crown colony of the British Empire. This is incorrect. On March 10, 1925, Cyprus seceded from Turkey. It wasn't until May 1, 1925, that Cyprus would become a crown colony. Saturday, May 23rd, 1925. As mentioned in one of the first videos on this channel, the first all-woman high court in the U.S. convened on January 8th to hear the case of Johnson versus Barr, in which the Woodmen of the World, a fraternal organization, were claiming that 2 tracts of land in El Paso belonged to the association due to secret trusts. Secret trusts are a type of trust created when a person leaves property to an individual or organization in their will, while leaving the name of the recipient out of the will. On this day, the all-woman High Court of Texas, composed of Ruth Virginia Brazel, Haydee Leigh Henenberg, and Hortense Sparks Ward, unanimously delivered their verdict in favor of the Woodmen of the World, with Ward writing the majority opinion. At the time of the court case, trusts did not have to be recorded to be legally binding. Sunday, July 5th, 1925. Failed to include that Roald Amundsen and his crew arrived in Oslo, Norway, after getting stranded while making an emergency landing on a sheet of ice during their expedition to the North Pole. They arrived in Oslo to a fanfare from the locals, as well as from King Haakon of Norway. Ellsworth, one of the members of the expedition, would later go on to quote, "Good old N25. We dropped down into the ford amid a pandemonium of frantically shrieking rivercraft and taxied on through the wildly waving and cheering throngs." This would officially mark the end of their 6.5-week-long ill-fated expedition to the North Pole. Thursday, November 19th, 1925. As pointed out by Liam Hamill 97, the body of King Tut was fully unwrapped and his remains reviewed for the first time in over 3,000 years. As I mentioned in my reply to Liam, I am unsure when exactly his body was unwrapped, as of my sources had that exact date. However, November 19th was when the autopsy of King Tut finished. The autopsy told us that King Tut was about 18 years old at the time of his death. No records remain about the cause of his death, but archaeologists have hypothesized that it was some combination of muscular dystrophy, a fractured femur, and malaria. Thank you for letting me know I missed this, Liam, and thank you so much for your kind words. And that is all. This is the final video of 2025, so I will see you tomorrow for all events from Friday, January 1st, and Saturday, January 2nd, 1926. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for a wonderful 2025, and I look forward to seeing you all in 2026.